More talk about optimism and pessimism, particularly the way that they relate with each other. I get more aligned with optimism. So I go do the reverse and I go highlight the benefits of pessimism. Then I go start to dey make my case from there. As people, we dey choose to either be optimists or pessimists for the same underlying reason. The reason why we dey align with one side or the other, na the same thing. And the reason we say we want security. And aligning with any of these two school of thoughts, they give us that sense of safety. Both of them are basically two different ways where we dey attempt to comfort ourselves. The benefits of pessimism, I say, it help you prepare your mind for loss or disappointment. It dey also make you dey more cautious. It dey help you reduce your potential to trust naively. So it dey reduce naive trust. And it will also help you with resilience too. As somebody who get very little or no expectations from people or the world, if you help your resilience in that way, in that when something disappointing happens, you're not expecting anything amazing from it anyway, so you just keep moving. So if you help you with resilience in that way too. Now when I do highlight the importance and benefits rather of pessimism, make I try make my case. I think the biggest issues for majority of people will be pessimists. Now the loss and the trust factor. The world don't break their trust too many times. Don't break their hearts too many times. So for them to feel safe, they constantly prepare themselves for possible disappointment. Like if he hits at any time based on their own past experiences. And so that just becomes their constant mind state now, sort of has become their entire personality. The more they go into this topic, the more they feel say, wetin we need na some kind of balance between optimism and pessimism. So a person as people, we should not be just firmly optimists or pessimists because to be firmly just an optimist in a way is to sort of deny the challenging experiences that you faced as a person. And that's not very factual. You won't put together all your experiences and use that experience to inform your life moving forward. But at the same time, you don't want the bad experiences where you don't get previously to come start to paralyze you, in your future endeavors, in your future relationships. You don't want me to come get this paralyzing effect over you where they stop you from actually doing things or becoming something or someone, meeting people, building relationships with people, then it's starting to have a negative effect on your life. The very thing where you talk about the world being a terrible place, holding that ideology can be like a self-fulfilling prophecy of its own because it now stops you from creating a life that is fulfilling, that is beautiful, that is satisfying. So it be like chaos where they charge itself, where they regenerate itself. So these concepts of optimism and pessimism, I think we need to make them more fluid when we think about them, when we use them. We need to add a bit more fluidity in there so that, there is a sort of a balance where this one bleeds into this one and this one bleeds into this one, and there is some sort of symbiosis, where they both work together as opposed to being just rigidly this or that. But still, I would like share something about not trusting and preparing our mind for loss or disappointment. You see, these two responses, both of them they driven by fear normally, but I think people will be pessimists need to remember say difference day between hurt and the possibility of hurt. There is a difference between harm and potential harm. There's a difference between the fear of harm and the fear of potential harm. That person A fails on their promise and breaks my trust. does not mean that person B will do the same to me. And the thing is, even as somebody where they consider myself to be optimist, you guys understand, say, my own fear response, they kick in sometimes too. When I did familiar situation that was hurtful in the past, right? My own fear response, they kick in that time too, to make me feel like, come on, this one feel end up like the last one. This person feel do you, wait till that person do you that time. They try to motivate me to respond in some sort of defensive or protective manner. But this now where healing and self-work today necessary. Now for the purpose of healing, because I want, get rid of these things. I want make my experience of life, my head, my life, they more sane, they more clear. Now for that reason, now they remind myself in times like that, say, this person never do me anything, right? Even though it looks familiar, even though the situations look exactly the same, I could remind myself, say, this person a different person. This person never do me anything, you know. Now, decision where you they make out of courage, not be decision where you they make out of naivety. Because at the end of the day, that person entirely new person. They never really do me anything where supposed to make me distrust them. You get, so for that reason, I go choose to stay open. I go see the risk, the risks where they there, the potential risk, right, in engaging with this person. But because the fact remains that this person has not done anything, be it to me or to somebody else, that should make me distrust them, then I just have to stay open. I just have to open myself up, even while I watch for any possible discrepancies. The right approach is still to open myself up, to engage with this person as a new person that I have never met before. And the truth be say, if you dey choose love as your way of life, if love na your religion, sort of, if not the filter through which you dey look life, then patience could be part of your life. Understanding could be part of your sort of sets of values through which you navigate life. And if that is true, then you would want to give a chance to somebody who has done nothing to you. You won't take the misgivings of somebody else and put it on this person to say everyone else is blacklisted or whitelisted because of the behavior of one person or a group of people. So I did attempt to really get to the bottom of the issue with this conversation, not just the shared sentiment, which really they make people feel this way. I would say I did really try to get to here because I don't believe say anybody really for their mind, deep down really believe say the world na naturally bad place, like the world is inherently bad and people are inherently bad. I don't think anyone really believes that. I think it's just something that we say because it's easy. Once we say that, we don't have to get into the weeds and start having 20-minute long conversations with the person to explain why we have, that point of view. Because think if truly the world was inherently bad and people were inherently bad, the richest people in the world won't have to spend trillions of dollars every year to spread propagandas, to start wars, to manage populations, to keep the world in this regressive state. They understand that if they stop putting in as much energy, as much time, as much effort, as much resources behind this their intention to keep the world in this regressive state, they know that the world is going to course correct. They know that people are not inherently terrible people. They know people only have these misgivings, because of the conditions that they are in. Don't you think it's crazy that a person would see a decent way to, live a sustainable life, and then they will leave that to want to steal from another person. Is that not insane? In a normal society, you will find that it's a very small population of people that are moving in that direction, that will have a means to live a comfortable life, and they will want to take somebody else's property. They know that if they don't spend a lot of money and effort and resources to influence, the state of the world, that the world is going to heal itself. I think it's really on the rest of us to kind of decide to live beyond or live past these propagandas, this perspective of life that they want you to have. I think it's really on us to live past it. Maybe do some little investigation to know what is true and what is not. And even more importantly, do some work on ourselves too, so that our spirit is a lot more able to separate the truth from the lies. My name is Nausas, and I will see you for the next video.